Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Bad to Business. I am your host, SHYNEN SAFFRON. Thank you for joining me tonight on this beautiful Memorial Day. Happy Sunday to everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I got a little bit of a toothache, so I'm going to try to push through as us grown-ups do. So bear with me a little bit. But it's a lot of things I want to talk about this evening. It's a lot of things I don't want to talk about this evening. I don't really want to talk about politics today. I don't want to talk about the ugliness in the world today. I know that my podcast, if you've been following, is about bringing all diverse discussions to business and seeing if we can, find some common ground, find some way we can bring some business to all the ugliness, right? So that's what my podcast is about. But I don't always talk about ugliness. I talk about just different things going on in our communities and our culture. And again, just still trying to bring it to the business table and trying to organize the business aspect, bring some new business to the culture, all those things. Diversify things, but still, again, like I said, find some common ground. So that's what this podcast is about. So again, I don't always want to talk about ugliness, and I don't always have pretty to talk about. So, like I said, there's some things that I really want to talk about and some things I really don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about how I'm still seeing that there's billions being spent on ICE camps and detention centers and segregation procedures, yet you're still closing federal buildings and departments and schools. We don't want to talk about that. That's still boggling my mind. And the first schools they attacked were the elementary schools. That's where it starts. It's not good enough that we are burning up history and destroying history books and telling people that certain things are of folklore like slavery and stuff like that. It's not good enough. We want to go ahead and make sure that they can't even have access to things. So we're closing down elementary schools. I don't know what the new thing is what the resolution is. I haven't really followed up on that, which I should. But so we don't really want to talk about that. But like I said, I don't really want to just talk about politics, even though that's the biggest topic right now, what's going on, because that is what's going on. But on this beautiful Memorial Day, while we're trying to remember some good things and some good people who did some good works that caused us good people to still be here, I just want to make sure that I give a shout out to those people who are to be remembered this day. And make sure that you give your respects to those families and things of that nature, and to those families that do have people of remembrance. We salute you. We thank you for sacrificing your families to do the things that were required of your family. So again, happy Memorial Day. Salute. So part of the things I don't want to talk about are the conflicts and the convos about the waste and fraud and abuse and the Russian roulette of the tariffs and the terrorists. And, what's new to me, probably old to y'all, is I just heard the expression the other day, Trumpism. Trumpism is a thing now, I guess. And while we try to minimize this small-minded person, we've now given him, I guess we have to categorize him to be able to departmentalize him. We got to say he's this to put him away, even though we don't want to think about it and don't want to deal with him. We have to do those types of things. So we did, whoever did. But like I said, I just heard about that. So Trumpism is now a household conversation, I guess, and that's what it's called. And not in my house, because as for me in my house, we will serve the Lord. But that I heard that expression, and that kind of threw me back. But it's so common, and like I said, although it's very important, it's not the end all and tell all of what's going on today. We've learned that the president himself cannot just speak things into existence. I was listening to a political conference where, in the words of Representative Delia Ramirez, and she said, Trump's will is not the guiding doctrine of this nation. Is not the guiding doctrine of this nation. And again, that's been proven. And although he has been able to do some things and cause some uproar, that's just what he's known to do. He just, I guess, invited and recruited a crew to help him do it too. He knew he wasn't going to be able to carry out some things by himself. So, as cowards usually do, they go get their crew. They see how they can carry out some things with a group behind them, and that's what's going on. So we'll see. But even people like Representative Ramirez and people like Jasmine Crockett, who is, living proof of, I mean, if anybody could get it, was a person. Jasmine Crockett is doing that. But they're doing the right things. And while they were not the people we voted for to help us make change, they are definitely raising conversation and raising eyebrows to the people who did vote for this presidential administration. So that's at least a start, right? So we salute them for that on this Memorial Day. Thanks for being there and doing the things that are necessary to make some change. And as one of the mottos here that we take on is we are the change we want to see. And you are definitely the change we want to see. So we appreciate you. Keep doing that. We got to learn how to support these people, follow these people, and, speak up. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, they're doing a great job, and I'm going to let them do their thing. And there's nothing that they're saying that I couldn't say, wouldn't say, or wouldn't think of to say. So now we wait on some answers, because there's also a request for a resignation on the ballot, and I'm looking for that. So I want to see a 16-page questionnaire answered. And if not, just go ahead and turn in your badge, because then you're not the woman for the job. But we'll get into that later. Something else I don't want to talk about, and what's considered an entertainment in our news and culture today. It's something that just kind of bothered me. And I'm going to just touch this real quick, because I don't have an opinion of it. I really don't. I don't have an opinion of too many people's business anymore. I'm too busy trying to run my own life. But I was talking to somebody about the whole Megan Thee Stallion thing. Megan versus Tory. And the interesting thing that popped out of all of this to me was that some stories changed after the young man was hurt in jail. I do know that people get hurt in jail, right? How that made some stories change, some testimonies, really boggles my mind. And last time I checked, lying in under oath was a felony. But somehow his life being in danger was enough for some people to switch out their stories and switch out his life for theirs. So we'll see how that comes in. But that was just, in our entertainment and news today, part of our entertainment distractions. That kind of just threw me for a minute. So we'll see how that goes. What else don't I want to talk about in our entertainment? I was thinking about talking about this Chris Brown thing, and his coincidental arrest and release around his big tour. I don't believe in coincidences. They happen. Things happen. Perfect timing is what I do believe in. But I just don't believe in in any coincidences. I'm not the type, and anybody who knows me, you know, you won't catch me holding on to any ideas of coincidences. It's just unreal to me. However, I do believe in the old school method of promotion called um, publicity stunts. Publicity stunts, and I learned that when I was young watching I Love Lucy. So, am I saying that Chris Brown is a part of something like that? Of course not. He wouldn't do his fans like that. He loves to entertain. He loves what he does, right? We all love what he do. Some of us who have been fortunate enough to see him do it in person and all those things. So we've been able to watch him grow and all those things. So do I feel like he's involved in any kind of publicity stunt propaganda? No, not at all. I do believe that there are people behind the scenes, powers that be behind entertainers that do certain things that they may feel are for the well benefit of the company, the artist, whatever, benefit for a whole or an individual. And they can make or break a situation. And do I feel like something like that happened with Chris Brown's situation? I do. That's just me. But I mean, it happened, and we are glad he's free to entertain and continue on his journey in which he's trying to do, be a good dad and all those things. So I just want us to be aware of things that still exist under publicity stunts, promotions of publicity stunts. It happens in all tiers of the public eye, the public view, and everything we deal in and dabble in. So let's be mindful of that. Okay, there's always smoky mirrors. There's always people behind the scenes. There's always people who can make stuff happen and, you know, stop stuff from happening. So, but you know, I love Chris Brown, so it was always free Chris Brown till it was backwards. So free CB, now it's backwards. So glad he's able to keep doing his thing, but y'all be mindful of stuff like that. It's happening more in our culture than anywhere, but it's definitely happening in different places and how the system manipulates people. So, yeah. Um, let's see. I definitely ain't trying to talk about the whole Diddy thing. I don't even want to touch any of that. I'm not trying to become a witness, a victim, or an accomplice of anything that he has his name on. Like, I've taken my old Ciroc bottles that I had posted up and I put them in storage because I don't want them used as evidence. Okay, so no shade. I'm just saying it's just way too much surrounding that thing right now. And again, for that to be such something to talk about, I'm just not with that. I'm just not with that. I mean, I have a point of view about it, but it's really not my business. I mean, it hurts that it's like something like this going on, and it is big, unfortunately, in the public eye, and that's just what it is. What it is when you become a celebrity, we all know that. It's what you sign up for. But the kids going through stuff and having to remember things and recollect things that they remember but couldn't really put together, you know, that's really a family affair. And it's a public affair now, right? So, I mean, while we're at the table, let's go ahead and talk about it while we're at the business table. I mean, with that being said, I I was listening to somebody's interview, and I've always taken this stance from the time I heard Diddy's thing. I'm sorry, from the time I heard that he was under investigation. And then all this extra stuff started coming out. I remember some conversations, some interviews some time back where some people said some things about him and it got ignored, and we just kept on dancing to his music and happy when he came out, and people still attended his parties. But one of the interviews that I heard recently here is something that I kind of stood on myself, and this is why I kind of back out of conversations. My point of view is one that agrees with Mr. D.L. Hughley, who said something like, no, I quoted him. If you watch that happen and didn't say it, you're just as horrible as he is, if it happened. And I stand on that anyway. I've heard different perspectives of, oh, well, some people were scared and this and that and the third. How did this come about? Somebody was scared. Somebody who went through something with him was scared, but they told. And then everybody followed suit. I kind of think that that could have happened already, especially if you know that someone was dang near being tortured. Some of the people who testified were dang near being tortured, and yet they were scared. I understand threats of families, all those things. But again, just not really my point of view to take. My only opinion that I can take on that is, he could have done better. He could have done better in all his situations. He could have done better. We all can do better. But since my point of view of free Diddy or lock all of the accomplices up at the same time isn't really going so well over with the general public's opinion, I kind of stay out of that. So yeah, I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, I said it 2 times. So moving on, let's talk about things I do want to talk about. Since that's what a podcast is for, right? You talk about things that you do want to talk about, good things, whatever. Good things and bad things, but I've already expressed what I don't want to talk about, touched on them. I'm going to let those go. What I do want to talk about is I've been following, and it's a shame that I haven't really been posting and doing some things. I've been going through some different things. Again, if you've been following my podcast, you know that I've had some life changers happen. Life has been lifing all the time. It ain't going to stop until life don't life no more. But God has been gotten, and he going to do that in my afterlife too. So I'm walking with him, I'm talking with him, and he's doing some different things. But anyway, so I've been following the 100 authors to watch. Okay, it's an amazing movement, I'm gonna call it. This is in care of Aspiring Authors Magazine with founder and visionary and my mentor, Queen Angela. Oh my God, I'm so proud of this lady. I'm so proud to just know her, to just be connected, and just really be under her guidance and have connections. And I mean, I'm at a loss for words. It's so much going on with this. So just being connected to this thing, and she's really just been opening my eyes to different things, just in this movement alone. These 100 authors, people are dropping book releases. They are doing multiple book series. They are not only having the courage to do book tours, but having the opportunity to do book tours. I've seen it. I'm watching it right before my very own eyes. And I've only been connected to this lady 5-6 short months. And I've been invited to book tours, and I've been invited to do interviews and magazine spreads, and just different things to expose me and myself and my brand and all these things just by being connected to somebody like this. So I definitely want to start putting things out there, because it's very important to be connected to a source. We know that God is our source and he uses resources. And I definitely feel like he has created this woman to be a source, but she's definitely, and that's why we call her Queen Angela, the visionary, queen of collaboration, all those great titles that she holds and all the many hats, and she wears them hats at the same time. So again, so proud to know you and be a part of what you got going on. But just, yeah, different opportunities. And I'll be posting different postings and promotions and upcoming events to follow and be a part of. And I just don't want anybody to miss any open doors, especially if I'm somewhat of a gateway. I talked before on one of my podcasts about how God came to me, the Spirit came to me and told me that I need you to go and show up. And then the next message was, I need you to be a bridge, not a bench. Show people that you're a way and not somebody who just kind of sits on ideas and sits on collaborations, as well as I'm connected. And I am very well connected. I haven't been able to utilize those things and everything, like I said, but that's a whole nother testimony and journey of obedience on. And I'm still on that, so I'll get there. But she is just doing great things with authors and people who didn't even know they were authors, poets. Like I said, I had the pleasure of writing 2 poems in her anthology, which was released on Amazon and other reading platforms. And that was like a blessing to me, just coming out the gate. So she has the gift of seeing potential even if you don't feel it or see it in yourself. So it's definitely been great just being a part of the things that she's a part of. And I'm looking forward to better things. So that's definitely something that I want to be able to share with y'all. Like I said, be looking for things coming up. Stay tuned for promotions and stuff like that so you can see what's going on. Hopefully that you can get connected and start living out some of your dreams, because she's definitely a way maker of some dreams. Still up to you. I'm learning that, but she's there. She's been put here for a reason, and she's a woman with a plan. So speaking of promotions and authors and opportunities, I am currently helping to promote, and let me say it's definitely a pleasure, one of the 100 authors to watch that I was just talking about, and someone that we will be promoting her book tour that's coming up, author Rachel L. Gary. I met her on one of the book tours and events, and she has been, hella inspiring to a lot of people, to say the least. She has already written 2 books of success, one entitled Forge in Fire, Becoming the Leader of Your Own Destiny. And the other one is hashtag Poverty to Six Figures, Breaking the Chain to Gain. This woman is everything she puts forth to be, to say the least of that. She has really changed some lives. I read up about her. Sometimes you want to know who your author is too, just as well as anybody else you want to know that you're following. But she's awesome, awesome. And so, like I said, I have the pleasure of helping to promote her upcoming book tour and book signing. She also has a podcast called Wake Up CEO out of Chicago. And I listened to that podcast the other day. It was really good. She had a guest on there, Queen Angela, and it's just really good to see kind of like new people and your old friends connect, kind of like that, and just see how things are going, where things are moving. To be able to see me connected to someone, and see that person connected to somebody so powerful. So again, be mindful of your circle. You always want to be around people who are reaching goals and continuing to do better, and I'm definitely there. So I'm hoping to latch on to some of that good energy and positive process and get this life going for real. But she was at one of the book tours, like I said, that I was invited to, and I had the pleasure of hearing her speak. And one of the most things that stood out to me was when she gave her CEO discourse. CEO standing for clarity, empowerment, and ownership of your own life. Be the CEO of your own life. One thing that stood out to me the most is that my teenager, my high schooler, was very interested and excited and motivated after hearing her speak. And in her words, she said, "Mom, she was speaking some real stuff. She was speaking some real stuff." And I was like, I mean, I know that, but you heard that, and to know that she inspired my teenager kind of did a spark for me too. It let me know that she is reaching young people. She just has to have the opportunity. So I'm definitely trying to promote her, get my daughter to promote her, do some things in schools if we can, because it's apparent. I'm a parent, but it's apparent that she's touching minds in different places in different ways that other people are not. So definitely want to give a kudos to her for that, and I'm looking forward to promoting your book signing and everything coming out in June. Like I said, I'm just so blessed to be a part of stuff like that and be around people of CEO mentalities and that are shaping generations, even younger ones like my daughter. So thank you for that. Um, so moving along, also in my business. Ooh, excuse me. I'm getting too excited. I got some good episodes and some good topics coming up. I've been getting with some people, doing some interviews, kind of just touching out and seeing where I can bring some different diversity to the table, to my table. Um, Different topics that I haven't reached out to do yet. For the most part, I've been kind of just letting y'all know about me and how I'm doing things and what this podcast is about. But I want to start having guests. I have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of topics. If you guys want to join in, if you have a topic, please DM me, message me, let me know what you want to talk about. Be a guest on my show, be a guest on any of our shows. and we'll get you out there. Definitely get your story heard. But I do have some episodes coming up. My personal favorite that's coming up is to be or not to be in therapy. I have talked to different people about this. I actually have a panel of guests coming up, of course, of different views and different, um, perspectives of whether therapy can be good for somebody or not. And these perspectives will be coming from personal experiences, whether people are in therapy, have tried therapy, or uh, are trying to decide. So if you'd like to be a part of that, please let me know. If not, stay tuned, keep watching. It might help you. And if it doesn't help you, like I said, be a part of it so you can help somebody else. Um, let's see. What else? What else? I have another episode coming up that I'm really happy about. Talking about generational curses, the good, the bad, and the business kept about it. Right? Who doesn't like to talk about families' dirty laundry? But what I'm doing with this is a little bit different. We talk about the family's dirty laundry and we keep it, tucked away, but what I'm trying to address in this episode is who's washing the clothes. Do they ever get washed? Are we still looking for grandmas and old school aunties to try to get everybody clean? But the problem is, and what I'm seeing is, there's more stains than soap, and there seems to be more black sheep than backup in our families. So I kind of want to address that. That's been on my mind for a little while. All these good topics have been on my mind. So hit me again. Again, hit me if you want to be a part of this change, or, I hope it somehow changes you. So I'm excited to talk about that. And just different things. I have another episode coming up where I have a guest who he's currently taking a class in psychology. And I don't want to talk too much about what he's studying and what he wants to talk about, because what he brought to me was very interesting. And the way he is connecting and or disconnecting our spirituality to science is really remarkable. Like I told him, I already have questions, and we have not even finished the episode. We're still going at it. There's still things that he's bringing, and some of the questions that I have, I'm researching. I want to kind of look into. It's not always up to somebody else to tell you some stuff. You got to do your own research. It's in the books, or it's in something that they want to give us information about. So again, as always, go do your own research. But please, please, please stay tuned to Bad to Business and the Crew podcast and the 100 authors to watch and Queen Angela and all of the things we got going on, because I'm telling you, we got some great things going on. Again, I'm so grateful to be a part of these things. And we definitely are the change that you want to see, the voices that you need to be heard, and, um, be a part of it. Don't just be a spectator. You'll see how easy it is to just be a part of a movement that's doing something right. Again, I'm just so blessed to be a part of that and start doing something and moving something in motion towards positivity, that it sometimes gets overwhelming, but if you're going to be overwhelmed with something, why not overwhelmed with goodness, right? So I thank God for all the things that he's doing in my life, that are good, bad, and indifferent, the things that I don't understand. I thank him for all the good, bad, and indifferent things of his plan that y'all don't understand in y'all's life, and just pray that you continue to trust him, follow the path, try to flow with it instead of going before it, okay? Again, I am SHYNEN Saffron. Thank you for joining me. This is Bad to Business. Until the next time, get with it or watch me do it. Love y'all.